Hi, everyone. Yes, we are still on our season break, but I felt compelled to jump on and have a quick chat to you all today about something I've been thinking about. So, this is to everyone who is not in Europe or in Bali or on some bloody tropical island somewhere being fabulous. And it's for all of us who are in either cold Melbourne or medium cold Sydney or wherever you might be where you call home. I think it's very easy at this time of year to sort of look at Instagram and go, oh, damn it. Like when you're not on holiday, it's, pretty ruthless at times being, at home when, so many people are away. And for that reason, I really wanted to jump on and have a chat to you about it because I am certainly feeling that way too. I should mention that this is an unedited version of our pod. It's just a little bonus app that I'm bringing to you. As I said, our season break kicks off in our new season kicks off in a couple of weeks. So, as you could just tell then, if I stutter or stuff up or anything, you guys will know about it because we're not editing it. We're just going to send it straight out to the masses after I've hit record. So talking about not being away if you aren't away. And if you are away, damn you. And yes, we are jealous and go live your best life. But if you are not and you are sort of in the daily grind, I guess, of juggling, let's call it work or home responsibilities and school holiday programs perhaps, or having kids at home, given it is school holidays, there's a fair bit that is going on. And the one thing I thought to myself was, what can I be doing now to ensure that I don't burn out, to sort of enable myself to kind of have a break while being at home? So the first thing I did, guys, which is actually radical, I joined a gym for the first time since I have had children. And for those of you who know, I have a nearly 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So it has been a minute. And anyway, I had my first session at the gym this morning actually, and I was just like, damn, I miss this. I'm walking in, people, I couldn't believe it. It was 9:15. I walked in for a spin class and the gym was packed. I'm like, do these people work? Like, what is going on? It was, just heaving. Everyone's in their gym gear. Everyone's pumping iron or, running like their life depends on it. And I love that. I love the energy. And look, I probably haven't joined a gym in that long for many reasons. Having children is certainly one of them, but another one really was COVID. And, COVID really prevented us from being around others, including exercising around others. And it's something that I really used to love and enjoy. I'm a big one for the classes, a spin class, a body pump class, and feeding off other people's energy in the room. And so, really pumped to get back into that. So, that's an example of me going, great, I'm here in freezing cold Melbourne. It feels like everyone's away. But what am I going to do to kind of get really motivated again? Mind you, I hadn't exercised probably in about 6 weeks. So it feels good to go, great, I've got this new regime, new gym, let's hit it, cannot wait. And I'm going to feed off the other people's energy around me in the gym. Another thing, even just talking about feeding off other people's energy, I mean, particularly for myself, I work quite solo. So with the property development work that I do, yes, I go on the construction site and I meet the team and I'm conversing with people. But a lot of the time I am, working from home or working from our home office. And it is, other than me being on the phone, I'm often by myself. So then it can sometimes be a little demotivating. And I'm speaking to those of you who perhaps might most people these days do a day or two from home, right? And you either could be super productive in doing that, or you can sit there going, God, get that load of washing on and, what else can I do to procrastinate, while my screen's still up and I look like I'm online, right? So that was me the other day. I was sitting there and I was like, I'm just by myself and so many distractions, but I know I've got this list of things I need to do. And these are tasks that are not super, super high priority, but I know if I tick them off, I'm going to just feel better about life. So I ducked across to the library. There's a library sort of towards the back end of my street. And I just sat there. And again, being around other people, being around other people's energy, I I just felt a lot more motivated. It's actually funny as I was thinking about my experience at the library the other day. This is just like a complete side note, but there was this guy next to me and he had his laptop up and then he had his iPad out, right? So he had his earphones on as well. And he kept looking from his laptop where he was typing to his iPad. And I just kept hearing this like buzzing noise, like this bzzz, and it would stop. And there was like zzz, and it would stop. And then I was like, oh my God, is this guy like watching like a car race or something, and he doesn't realize that it's on loud, because it almost sounded like a distant sort of car kind of vibration thing. And I was like, oh my God, how bloody rude. And this is like, so me before children, even if there was like a noise next to me or something, I would have never had the nerve to turn around and say something to the person. But I just kept like looking over and I was like, what the hell's this guy doing with the noise on his iPad? Like, mate, you got earphones in. Like, what are you even doing? Like, you know, this is a quiet area. Like me, post kids, I'm like, I have no tolerance for that shit. So like follow the rules. So I'm sitting there and after a few minutes I was like, nah, this is ridiculous. I'm going to say something. So I leant over and I was like, excuse me. He pulls off his earphones. He's like, yeah. I'm like, look, I don't know. Are you watching something like a car race on your iPad? Because I'm just hearing vibration. And then before he could respond, I heard this bzzz, and I look out the window and it's construction worker with like what I realized was like a drill, which was making that noise. And I looked at him and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he goes, no, I'm definitely not. I've got earphones in. And I'm like, don't worry, just ignore me. It was the drill and I thought it was your iPad. And he looks at me and he's like, oh, okay, good. And then I'm like, this is awkward. I'm like, okay, yep. Carry on. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, just want to like die in my seat. Like, who's the grumpy woman? Like, just, you know, telling people off. Like, oh my God. I'm like, literally, this is when I knew I needed a holiday, because I'm like snapping at random people around me. But yeah, complete side note. Okay, so what else have I been thinking about whilst, you know, in sort of getting motivated again, I guess, and just kind of feeling like uplifted and good energy vibes and stuff. So another one which has been a real game changer for me actually has been probably for the last week. I haven't looked at Instagram before reading my book before going to bed. So sometimes I would be on Instagram and I wouldn't even have time to read my book, my Kindle. I love a bit of a family drama novel. So, and that I find the reading fantastic before bed, but the being on your phone bit, they always say it, the research says it, everyone says it, that light and also just the stimulation of being on your phone. And also if you're feeling down or emotional and you go on your phone and you're comparing your life with everyone else, which is basically what Instagram is, it often won't put you in the best position prior to falling asleep, right? We all know this. But I would justify it by saying, oh, no, I have to go on because for the podcast, if someone's reached out or if I'm speaking to a brand and what if they responded and blah, 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 or a guest or whatever, it's kind of work and I'd rather just check it, you know. And then the other day I was like, actually, that's just bullshit. Like everyone can just wait, you know. And I think that's what I've realized even in the work that I'm doing, more so with the podcast. So in corporate, in property development, you email someone, typically they're always going to respond. They're going to, on average, they're going to be consistent with timeframes that are set and stuff like that. What I've noticed with more podcast creative world is that you could reach out to someone and then they just like don't respond forever. And it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Or like then 6 weeks later they pop up and they're like, yeah, sure. Come on my podcast. Or it's all just very fluid. And I really struggled with that because I love, being timely and actioning things quickly and getting back to people. And like, that's just my make up. And when I don't respond to a text, I know I haven't responded and I know I've got to get to it. Like I'm not kind of, fluid like that. But anyway, so I started thinking, actually, people are taking so long to get back to me for things. Why do I feel like I have to be like so on it, taking all of this so seriously and being punctual and trying to respond before I go to sleep? So I've kind of just dissipated that excuse that I had in my head. And I thought to myself, you know what? There is absolutely no reason why I need to be on Instagram or any form of social media or my phone before I go to sleep. Everyone can just bloody wait. So I've been hopping in bed. I light a candle. I put my lamp on. I kind of love, for me, aromas are really settling. And so I've even got this pillow spray that I got from Mecca that's like a go to sleep spray, which I love. And so all these things, but, I guess, think about the things that can also calm you if you're finding that sleep is being a bit interrupted, or just you can't fall asleep too easily. But anyway, so I set my room up, and then I would often get in bed, get on Insta, and then read my book, go to bed. But yeah, just now going straight into bed, reading my Kindle, and having more time to read as well, I've absolutely loved. I feel has been quite a game changer. I'm falling asleep in more of a settled way. And, these are little things like, the sleep, the exercise, the, being mindful of where you're spending your time, what you're allowing to come into your world. These are all things that I think are so important. And again, when I think, okay, a lot of people are away at school holidays, for example, and, things like that, I don't want to burn out by just keep continuing to hustle the way I have been all year. I finally feel I've kind of given myself permission to switch off in a way and just kind of go, no, this is all I can get done for the day, And I think sometimes we've got to do that. It is very easy to feel like we have to just keep spinning on that hamster wheel. I mean, we live in a culture which promotes productivity. If you're not busy, if you're not doing the things, then, oh, what's wrong? Like, you're being lazy. You're actually just like chilling out. Oh, really? Oh, God. Okay. And I don't know, certainly for me, the way in which I was brought up, it was you've got to, every minute counts, get shit done, achieve, do the things. So I really struggle with peeling back. And also, I know even from a manifestation perspective, if you're trying to, manifest these beautiful outcomes in your life, what I find blocks that for me is that I'm so busy with the action and so busy with the pushing. I mean, I've said in previous episodes that Gabby Bernstein said, don't strangle your dreams. And I very much feel often I do that because I was trained to be this robot that would just kind of keep going. So, I know I said, I think at the back end of last season, okay, I'm going on my season break and I'm just going to relax. Okay, I haven't done that. Like, I haven't done that until literally, I think, I've started at this gym, which was this morning, but really, so I really should listen to what I preach. But I guess I am now going to be actively giving myself permission. I'll report back in my next episode as to whether this has happened, but it's good to be held accountable, guys. Giving myself permission to go, okay, yeah, I might not be sitting on a tropical island at the moment, but hey, I'm going to put little things in place to enable myself to have a little bit of time for myself. Another example actually was I've actually got little Noah. He's at a school, so he's at school holidays at the moment. And I grew up absolutely hating holiday programs. I just remember always not knowing anyone and feeling like a bit of a dork, and, all the other kids seemed to know each other, and I just kind of hated them, right? And never mind the fact that my parents were spending good money on giving me opportunities to attend these things. As children, you never think about it that way, right? All I wanted to do was be home with my great-grandparents who were living with us at the time, and I wanted to watch a full day of Oprah. Like, that's all I wanted to do, sit in front of the TV, happy days. From a very young age, I'd watch daytime TV, Ricki Lake, Oprah, hit me, freaking love it. So anyway, I much prefer to do that than be on some bouncing castle with kids who aren't really trying to be my friend and all those things. So I, don't get me wrong, I'm super passionate about Noah and, my kids doing activities, but I was always like, I need to make sure he has a friend in the group because that's my trigger from when I was younger. So anyway, so he's always had a friend as he goes to these programs that are in the area. And the other day he comes home and I'm like, oh, did you play with your friend? And he said, yeah, I did, but then I kind of just like made all these other friends and it's awesome. And actually they're all got, I'm really happy going, I love that program. And I said, oh, okay, well tomorrow we didn't have anything assigned for you because I don't know where your friends are going to be, so you can just stay home, or do you want to go to that program, the same program that he was talking about where he made all these new friends again, but you won't really know anyone, is that okay? And he goes, yeah, I'll go back, I don't care if I don't know anyone. And I was like, okay. So off he went the next day and I dropped him off, and he was a little hesitant, all confident prior, but a bit hesitant as I dropped him off because he didn't have a friend to hold his hand and walk in with him. But then one of the teachers was like, oh, come on, off we go, Noah, let's go jump on the jumping castle. And then by the time I picked him up, he said, I had the best day and I made all these friends. And it was interesting because as I let him go, it was a day where I had really prioritized sort of my work in a way that I could spend a bit of time with him. But he was so insistent about wanting to go back to this holiday program that I found myself at home going, okay, cool. I mean, we've always got work to do, right? But I was kind of like, nothing's overly urgent today. So I can actually, and again, give myself permission to go for a walk and think of cool ideas, for example, for the podcast while I'm listening to music and in nature, things that I would never ordinarily do. But knowing that it's the holidays and knowing that I'm giving myself downtime so I don't burn out, I allowed myself to do that. And I also learned that, hey, my kid is actually, obviously I'll take his lead, and it could be that was a one-off, that he was happy to go without his other friends to this program. But also I shouldn't put my assumptions on my kid. Because I didn't like going alone doesn't mean my kid isn't going to like going alone. So, that was, it was a really cool 2 birds, 1 stone incident where I was like, great, I'm allowing him to spread his wings and do that. But also I'm giving myself permission, which in my world is a really big thing, to kind of, have a more low-key day. So I guess in rounding out, and I jumped on this pod not really knowing what I was going to talk about, but just knowing that I needed to speak to the people who weren't necessarily on holidays like it feels like half of Melbourne is. But, and look, fundamentally, I hope this has encouraged you to sort of think about, okay, yes, I'm not necessarily away, and yes, I'm attending work each day, let's call it, or, doing the household things with the kids and things like that. But, are there a few little things I can shift in my daily routine to enable me to feel a little bit more, relaxed, like I'm, giving myself a little bit of a break too? Because I think it's really important to have those times in the year. Yes, we go hard, and we pursue, or we, all about the kids running around for their activities, and it's always chaos, or work has the busy periods, bloody blah. But it's really important also for us to enable ourselves to have that little bit of downtime, firstly, so we don't burn out. Secondly, so we can be more creative and really have a better perspective on the things that we're, looking to achieve, or that we're thinking about doing, or whatever that looks like. And thirdly, just always good as well for our physical bodies, to sort of have, a bit of a break from the intense, setup that we often live in. So productivity is certainly not always king, and I'd like to scream that from the rooftops and remind myself that every day. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, this bonus ep. We are so excited to bring you the upcoming season 6. It's going to now kick off on the 1st of August. I've pushed it back an extra week as we've got, a few exciting things coming up, and I thought I'd just give us a little bit more space to line all of that up for the upcoming season. I should actually do a shout out as well. A lot of you would know that I do coaching with clients, and one of my couples has just wrapped up their 5 session course that I offer. So I don't work with many people, but if there's anyone out there that is feeling like they want a little bit more support in a particular area of their life, perhaps they're looking to feel better, achieve something specifically, improve on their relationships romantically or otherwise, and looking for a bit of guidance, please feel free to DM me. As I said, I only really have a select handful of clients that I deal with, but given this couple have rolled off, so just on that, I do work a lot with couples. This particular couple were in business together, and we really looked at some of their goals in their relationship as well as their business goals. And, essentially what they got out of that was having a bit more, like getting over the negative chat that they'd been telling themselves, probably appreciating each other a lot more from hearing from each other for the 5-week period. It's 1 day a week, not 1 day, 1 hour for 1 day each week. So 5 sessions in total, 5 hours in total. And actually, they're going to be doing some cool testimonials, which I'll whack up on Insta as well, based on their experience. But so for those of you out there who might be feeling a little stuck and might want that little bit more motivation or someone to help them be accountable, please hit me up on my DMs. I'd be more than happy to have a chat. And whether it's me or one of the other fabulous coaches that I know and love, there's always opportunities, and it's always good to seek out resources. And for those of you who perhaps think you might benefit from a relationship style coaching program, then I can absolutely support in that way as well. So as I said, I've got very limited spaces, but yell out, and if I'm not available, I'll certainly put put you in touch with others in my space. Okay, thanks so much again, guys, and I will catch you next time. Bye.